Man, when you did Bono, no, what did you sing? You sang a couple of things in China, but when we went to karaoke, you did.
I did Prince.
No, you
Yeah,
did. Okay, you did Prince and you did Bono.
Yeah.
I was like, I told Jessica, you do a better Bono than Bono does.
Oh.
You sounded so good on that U2 song. I can't remember which one it was. Can you remember which one it was?
Was it Still Haven't Found One?
No. It was a more vibey one.
All I Want Is You.
Yeah.
From the cradle to the grave, and all I want is you. That one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of those moments where you go, oh, I forgot he's that good. You know what I mean? Like, I don't forget that you're that good, but, you don't, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Well, you're singing all this high R&B, you and your wife, and I was like, I forgot how good you are. I think she might have been, sorry, dude, I think she might have been best of show.
I think she was.
Blew us all away. Mm-hmm. It was so good. And our good friend Peter, what's up, Peter? Just singing his brains out like, man, we overtaught him. He sings too well. You can't be doing all that, Peter. Get you, boy. Anyway.
What's up, guys? My name is Benny, and I'm here with the master, Brett Manning, to discuss vocal distortion and different textures that you can put on your voice.
And I'm Brett Manning, and I'm sitting here with the master, Benny Meza, who's going to also discuss textures you can put on your voice. I don't think there is a limit to the types of distortion that can be made. Because think about this. If I distort with a low larynx and a fuzzy sound, that's a distortion. But if I sing with a high larynx and a fuzzy sound, that's a different distortion. And if I use a vocal fry and a little distortion, that's a different distortion. And if I begin to compress, it's a different distortion. And if I had nasality, and if I'm, yeah. So I've often thought about, as you know, the idea of cartoon characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you've heard me say forever, Bugs Bunny. I ask people, high voice or low voice, and what do they always say? High voice. Not a high voice, but a high resonation. That pharyngeal resonator. And, what's up, Doc? And the same guy does that Yosemite Sam, which is the most... I used to listen to that when I was young and think, somebody's tearing their vocal cords apart. Did you ever hear the interview with him on talk show?
Oh, yeah.
And he talks down here. It's so funny, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's enlightening. You're like, yes. He goes, yes. Actually, my voice is right down here. He goes, oh, okay, Dave. He's on David Letterman. He ranks right into that. But even people think, wow, how do you sing so high? No, he just added nasality. Tell me what your experience is as far as teaching texture.
Yeah, well, first, I love all those sounds. So there's some producers who will call some of them bad, some of them good. I think it depends on context, whether or not a distortion sound works. But yeah, so I think it's that first, because some voices are so plain and boring, and just a little bit of distortion would make them sound, or texture, whether it's breathiness or a little raspiness or something, would make it so much more interesting. So I think, you've got to broaden your horizons first. There's people who love distortion and they want to put it on everything, and I think they have to learn to temper that because they want to use it all over the place, loses its impact. But then there are those who don't want to use any of it, who should. And it's, it can be deceptively subtle,
So when you say texture, you mean including rasp, but not necessarily rasp. Not, some people use the term grinding their voice. Like, man, that just kind of rubs you wrong, doesn't it? When you hear grind, you're not grinding it. And sometimes a word itself is so pregnant with meaning that people hear the word and they just like fry. Somebody said on there, you're frying your voice. It's like you're putting in a pan and you're heating it up and you're frying it. That's bad. I said, no, your concept of the fry as cooking something rather than as the sound of a sizzle. It's the sound is fry. It's not literally filleting vocal cords and putting a dash of olive oil and oregano on them. Basil, rosemary, you know?
Yeah. Even the word scream, right? When people hear vocal fry screams or just, I want to make my screams better, you don't actually produce that scream sound by screaming. So yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, just like you don't produce the fry sound by somehow frying your vocal cords.
Flip them over. Well done. They're crispy vocal cords.
Yeah, I think, someone who's formally trained in music theory understands the word texture differently, because if you're adding different voices, if you're adding different voices in some sort of musical piece that are playing different notes, you might consider that an additional texture in the music. So in my mind, a texture would just be an additional sound that goes with your voice, right? An additional color, so to speak. So you've got your true vocal cords creating a nice clean tone, and you might on top of that add some breathiness to it, or a little vocal fry kind of thing. So it's just an additional color.
What do you think is the most dangerous way? Because there's a lot of people out there saying, yeah, I want to learn about this, but by the way, I'm Brett Manning.
And I'm not Brett Manning. I'm Benny Meza.
And I'm not Benny Meza.
Had me fooled.
The exaggeration about who we really are, what do you think as far as what is the biggest risk? What poses the biggest risk for you?
Yeah, it's people trying to create vocal distortion with a high intensity attack of the vocal cords. In other words, just blasting their vocal cords with air, squeezing the crud out of their vocal cords, and doing so loudly. That's not the way that it's properly done.
Almost like a slap instead of a compress.
This,
everybody do that at home. Slap. Your hand's still tingling? Yeah. Now go like this. They don't tingle. So when I go, hug. My dear friend who was just in town from El Paso, what's up, girl? Yo, Christina. She jokes around. She goes, hugga, hugga, gaga, hugga. She was doing that gaga. She goes, gaga. She's all day long. Because she likes that pressure on the chords, that gaga. So when I go, ga is a distortion, but it's subtle. Ga, no distortion. Ga. If you can't pull back, you're hurting yourself, right?
Absolutely. Man, you did that so well.
Oh,
yeah.
Stop.
There's the Jeff Buckley song Grace.
Yeah.
And he has a moment where he starts in a clean tone and then he incrementally adds that texture too. So I've loved that as a vocal exercise. If I take a mixed voice note, if I'm going something like that, I'll have someone go from that and gradually add distortion. I think it's more of an advanced technique though, because it presupposes that you do know how to do distortion a little bit, but it's a refining step. If you can go, oh, so you start clean and gradually thicken it up without changing your technique. So we're not going, oh, that kind of thing. You'll catch your mistake as you try turning on the distortion if you do it from a clean tone.
I like what you said about catching your mistake. So as soon as you feel the distortion, leave it alone. Don't add more weight than what your vocal cords are willing to receive. And you know that you've added that weight when they start to, you begin to feel deterioration. which
Mm-hmm.
hey, I'm going to tell you right now, Brett, do you think your voice has deteriorated over the years? Hell yeah. You know why? Because, I'm getting older. In fact, right now is the oldest I've ever been. A little about me. I was born at a very young age. But right now, I'm fighting inflammation. And I'm fighting years of being dangerously interesting instead of technically boring. Sometimes when you're dangerously interesting, you actually become technically dangerous. Dangerously interesting does not mean technically dangerous. You're just not technically boring. So what he's talking about, texture, Benny's saying, is added to a good technique. You can't build something on a shaky foundation. If you hear Benny's voice, dude, voice is so pretty, man. We're singing in China, singing Ave Maria, and I was like, oh my gosh. It's just pretty voice. But how do you get from that pretty to the distortion? It's the same place, right?
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand that mix and head are in the same place. When you're mixing, you're adding more ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
A little pharyngeal. We both give I don't know where a G is. Ooh. Do we have a keyboard?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, I've got one on my phone.
Okay.
I'll buy your next coffee if that's right on G. You were on A.
It's A.
So this is our.
Well, some people,
A.
Yeah, I mean, A.
That's our G.
Ooh. So if I'm. Wide open mix. It's not supposed to be possible. You usually go, yell. It's like controlled yelling, which you do all the day long, but better than me. Give me a go from head and slowly open that mix.
Excuse me. Yeah, I've been eating too many sweets.
Oh, don't get me started on Thanksgiving meal. Still working it off. Treadmill penance.
Yeah, round 2. Do you want me to?
Yeah, go.
So.
Gee, dude. I mean, this is
Still warming up.
Yeah, but this is unnerving stuff because if I just start singing, everything's letting go, and that's fine. We're not trying to show off. That's me letting go. But if I can control that letting go, as they're like kind of pop is a controlled version of letting go, isn't it? Pop is probably harder to sing in many ways than any other form because there's so much more control involved, especially R&B, pop R&B, the small places. Pretty voice. Good job, bro.
Yeah.
It's been fun hanging out. We got to run. We got jobs. Got to work. Brett
Peace
Manning.
out.
If you like that video, then go ahead and subscribe, like, and comment anything that you think we should talk about next.